In the darkest period of Israel's history, when chaos ruled and famine ravaged the land, three widows stood at a crossroads that would change human destiny forever. One walked away, one walked back, and one made a single choice. That one act of practiced faithfulness rewrote the destiny of nations. Where you go, I will go. Your people, my people. Your God, my God. She wasn't born into Israel's covenant. She chose it. She practiced it. One day, one decision, one act of loyalty at a time. And what she practiced, she became. Not just Ruth the Moabite, but Ruth the faithful, Ruth the redeemed, Ruth, the great-grandmother of King David and ancestor of the Messiah. This is the story of transformation, of how small choices become legacies, of how what you practice today determines who you become tomorrow. This is the story of how a foreign widow became the great-grandmother of kings, and how every decision we make is a rehearsal for who we're becoming. But this isn't just another ancient story. Hidden within these 4 short chapters lies a mystery that connects a foreign widow to the greatest king in Israel's history, and to a prophecy that would echo through millennia. Our story begins during the era of the Judges, a time the Bible describes as when judges judged. There was a famine in the land. A certain man of Bethlehem, Judah, went to live in the country of Moab with his wife and his 2 sons. The name of the man was Elimelech, and the name of his wife Naomi. The names of his 2 sons were Mahlon and Chilion, Ephrathites of Bethlehem, Judah. They came into the country of Moab and lived there. Ruth chapter 1 verse 1 and 2. But here's what's chilling. Elimelech's name means, "My God is king." Yet when crisis came, he ran away from the promised land, away from God's people, away from faith. Then Elimelech dies. No explanation, no warning, just gone. Naomi's sons marry Moabite women, Orpah and Ruth. For 10 years, they build a life in foreign soil. Then tragedy strikes again. Mahlon and Chilion both died, and the woman was bereaved of her 2 children and of her husband. Ruth chapter 1 verse 5. 3 widows, no children, no future, no hope. Naomi hears the famine in Judah has ended. She decides to return home, but she tells her daughters-in-law something shocking. Naomi said to her 2 daughters-in-law,
"Go, return each of you to her mother's house. May the Lord deal kindly with you, as you have dealt with the dead and with me. May the Lord grant you that you may find rest, each of you in the house of her husband."
Then she kissed them, and they lifted up their voices and wept. Ruth chapter 1 verse 8 and 9. Orpah, after weeping, turns back. But Ruth does something that defies all logic, all cultural norms, all self-preservation instincts. Ruth said, "Don't urge me to leave you and to return from following you. For where you go, I will go, and where you stay, I will stay. Your people will be my people, and your God my God. Where you die, I will die, and there I will be buried. May the Lord do so to me, and more also, if anything but death parts you and me." Ruth chapter 1 verse 16 and 17. This wasn't just loyalty, this was a blood oath, a commitment unto death. But why? What did Ruth see in this bitter, broken woman that made her abandon everything? Here's the mystery. Ruth the Moabite, descendant of a cursed nation born from incest, chooses the God of Israel, and somehow, impossibly, this choice will rewrite history. Ruth and Naomi arrive in Bethlehem. All the city was excited about them, and they asked, "Is this Naomi?" Naomi is so broken, she said to them, "Don't call me Naomi," which means pleasant. "Call me Mara," which means bitter, for the Almighty has dealt very bitterly with me. I went out full, and the Lord has brought me home again empty. Why do you call me Naomi, since the Lord has testified against me, and the Almighty has afflicted me? Ruth chapter 1 verse 21. Naomi had a relative of her husband's, a mighty man of wealth, of the family of Elimelech, and his name was Boaz. Ruth chapter 2 verse 1. Boaz, a wealthy landowner, a man of standing. But here's what most people miss. Boaz was the son of Rahab, the Canaanite prostitute who helped Israel conquer Jericho. Boaz himself was the product of an outsider joining Israel. Ruth the Moabitess said to Naomi, "Let me now go to the field and glean amongst the ears of grain after him, in whose sight I find favor." She said to her, "Go, my daughter." She went and came and gleaned in the field after the reapers, and she happened to come to the portion of the field belonging to Boaz, who was of the family of Elimelech. Ruth chapter 2 verse 2 and 3. Behold, Boaz came from Bethlehem and said to the reapers, "May the Lord bless you." They answered him, "May the Lord bless you." Then Boaz said to his servant who was set over the reapers, "Whose young lady is this?" The servant who was set over the reapers answered, "It is the Moabite lady who came back with Naomi out of the country of Moab." Ruth chapter 2 verse 4, 5 and 6. Boaz sees Ruth, and immediately he shows her extraordinary protection and favor. He tells his workers, "Leave extra grain for her, don't touch her, let her drink from our water." Then she fell on her face and bowed herself to the ground and said to him, "Why have I found favor in your sight, that you should take knowledge of me, since I am a foreigner?" Boaz answered her, "I have been told all about what you have done for your mother-in-law since the death of your husband, and how you have left your father, your mother, and the land of your birth, and have come to a people that you didn't know before. May the Lord repay your work, and a full reward be given to you from the Lord, the God of Israel, under whose wings you have come to take refuge." Ruth chapter 2 verse 10, 11 and 12. Naomi realizes who Boaz is, a kinsman. Under ancient law, a close relative could marry a widow and preserve the dead husband's name and inheritance. Naomi, her mother-in-law, said to her, "My daughter, shall I not seek rest for you, that it may be well with you?" Now isn't Boaz our kinsman, with whose maidens you were? Behold, he will be winnowing barley tonight on the threshing floor. Therefore, wash yourself, anoint yourself, get dressed, and go down to the threshing floor. But don't make yourself known to the man until he has finished eating and drinking. It shall be when he lies down that you shall note the place where he is lying. Then you shall go in, uncover his feet, and lay down. Then he will tell you what to do." She said to her, "All that you say, I will do." Ruth chapter 3 verse 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. What happens next will determine whether this story ends in shame or salvation. At midnight the man was startled and turned himself, and behold, a woman lay at his feet. He said, "Who are you?" She answered, "I am Ruth your servant. Therefore spread the corner of your garment over your servant, for you are a near kinsman." He said, "You are blessed by the Lord, my daughter. You have shown more kindness in the latter end than at the beginning, because you didn't follow young men, whether poor or rich. Now, my daughter, don't be afraid. I will do to you all that you say, for all the city, my people, knows that you are a worthy woman." Ruth chapter 3 verse 8, 9, 10 and 11. Boaz wants to marry Ruth, but there's a problem. Now it is true that I am a near kinsman. However, there is a kinsman near than I. Ruth chapter 3 verse 12. There is another relative. However, Boaz told Ruth, "Stay this night, and in the morning, if he will perform for you the part of a kinsman, good. Let him do the kinsman's duty. But if he will not do the duty of a kinsman for you, then I will do the duty of a kinsman for you. As the Lord lives, lie down until the morning." Ruth chapter 3 verse 13. Apart from Boaz being a wealthy landowner, he was God-fearing, generous, confident, emotionally aware, masculine provider energy. He led with intention to mention a few traits of good men, or what modern society calls high-value men. This is a reminder to all the beautiful girlies out there who aspire to find good men to be in a relationship with that lead to marriage or long-term relationship. Keep your boundaries clear but classy. Communicate your expectations without demanding money and invite him to reveal his mindset so you can see if he fits your lifestyle. Your circumstances should not define your future. Good men existed in the past. They exist in the present and will continue existing in future. Boaz goes to the city gate, the ancient courthouse, and sets up a public negotiation. He's clever. He said to the near kinsman, Naomi, who has come back out of the country of Moab, is selling the parcel of land, which was our brother Elimelech's. I thought I should tell you, saying, buy it before those who sit here, and before the elders of my people. If you will redeem it, but if you will not redeem it, then tell me, that I may know, for there is no one to redeem it besides you, and I am after you. He said, I will redeem it. Then Boaz said, on the day you buy the field from the hand of Naomi, you must buy it also from Ruth, the Moabitess, the wife of the dead, to raise up the name of the dead on his inheritance. The near kinsman said, I can't redeem it for myself, lest I endanger my own inheritance. Take my right of redemption for myself, for I can't redeem it. Ruth chapter 4, verse 3, 4, 5, and 6. In that moment, everything changes. The relative removes his sandal, the ancient sign of transferring rights, and Boaz becomes Ruth's kinsman redeemer. But here's the stunning mystery. That unnamed relative who refused, his name is lost to history, forgotten, erased. But Boaz and Ruth, their names would echo through eternity. So Boaz took Ruth, and she became his wife, and he went into her, and the Lord enabled her to conceive, and she bore a son. Ruth chapter 4, verse 13. After 10 years of barrenness with her first husband, now she conceives. This isn't chance. This is divine intervention. The women, her neighbors, gave him a name, saying, a son is born to Naomi. They named him Obed. He is the father of Jesse, the father of David. Ruth chapter 4, verse 17, David becomes Israel's greatest king, and from David's line comes the Messiah. Do you see it now? The entire lineage of Jesus Christ, the Savior of the world, depends on Ruth's choice on that dusty road. If Ruth had turned back with Orpah, if that other relative had redeemed her, if Boaz had not been honorable, the whole story of redemption changes. The women of Bethlehem tell Naomi, your daughter-in-law, who loves you and who is better to you than 7 sons, has given birth to this child. 7 sons, the number of perfection, of completion. Ruth, the foreign widow, is worth more than perfection itself. So what's the real mystery of Ruth? It's this: God's greatest plans often hide in our darkest moments. Naomi thought God had abandoned her. Ruth thought she was choosing poverty and obscurity. The people of Bethlehem saw a foreign widow, an outsider, a nobody, but God saw the great-great-grandmother of the Messiah. Every act of loyalty, Ruth to Naomi. Every act of redemption, Boaz for Ruth. Every thread of this story weaves together to reveal something breathtaking. No one is outside God's plan. No tragedy is beyond his redemption. No outsider is too far from his grace. Ruth made a choice in her darkest hour, and that choice became a dynasty, a kingdom, a salvation. What choice are you facing today? What loss seems too great to overcome? What if your story, like Ruth's, is just beginning? Where you go, I will go, and where you stay, I will stay. Your people will be my people, and your God, my God. Ruth 1:16.